The night was calm across Earth, but far beyond the blue sky, something strange was moving in the deep darkness of space. Telescopes on the moon first detected the strange energy. It looked like a wave of light, but it was not sunlight, not radiation, and not a natural signal. It was too strong, too clean, and too powerful. Scientists watched the wave grow bigger, and their faces turned pale. No species in the galaxy had ever created such strong energy, except one that humans did not want to meet. Inside the United Earth Space Observatory, alarms began to ring softly. Engineers stared at their screens with shaking hands. One of them whispered, "This is not natural, this is someone talking to us." Another said, "But who has this kind of power? Who is sending this signal?" The signal kept coming closer. Every minute it became stronger. It moved in a straight line, like it knew exactly where Earth was. No curves, no delays, no mistakes, only purpose. The United Earth Council was called for an emergency meeting. Leaders from every country joined the hologram room. Some looked confused, some looked scared, and some refused to believe anything was wrong. But the head of defense spoke with a cold voice. "Our scout ship, Horizon 6, went to check the source of the signal," he said, "and it never returned." Silence filled the room. Not returning meant one thing: something powerful had destroyed the scout ship. The council members exchanged worried looks, but none of them knew what to do. They waited, and the whole planet waited with them. Then, something impossible happened. Every screen across Earth, phones, tablets, TVs, satellites, even old devices that no longer worked, turned black for 3 seconds. Then a glowing symbol appeared, sharp and bright. It was a circle of fire with 3 claws across it. No one knew what it meant, but everyone felt fear. It looked ancient, angry, and alive. A deep voice echoed from every device, every speaker, every city. It was not human, not mechanical. It felt like something large and arrogant was speaking down to humanity. The voice said only one message. "Humans, you have grown too fast. You have stepped into regions where you do not belong. Surrender your solar system. You have 10 hours. People across Earth froze. Cars stopped on roads, air traffic paused in the sky, and families stared at their screens with shaking hands. Children cried, and soldiers grabbed their weapons without even thinking. The whole world felt like time had stopped. Inside the council chamber, the sound faded, but no one spoke for a long moment. The defense commander finally stood up. "This is a war threat," he said, "a direct invasion warning." Another council member replied with fear, "We cannot fight unknown enemies. We do not know their strength." But someone else in the room knew something. A woman sitting in the shadows, Dr. Lena Arwood, leader of the Human Strategic Research Division, rose slowly. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were serious. "We expected something like this," she said softly. "Humanity has been watched for many years. We grew fast, too fast for other species. They think we are a danger." Everyone stared at her. She continued, "For years we worked on a secret project, preparing for the day someone powerful would come." She pressed a button on her wrist console, and a hologram appeared in the room. It showed massive human warships, dark as night, hidden behind planets and moons. Their armor was thick, their engines huge, their weapons unknown to the galaxy. The hologram displayed one name: Project Aegis. The council members gasped. They had never seen ships like this. Dr. Arwood said, "These warships were designed in silence. They are the strongest human ships ever built. They were created for survival, for days like today." Then the energy wave hit Earth's orbit. It was so strong that satellites shook, and the sky turned bright for a moment. The alien fleet finally appeared on long-range scanners, a whole invasion force, thousands of ships, many times larger than any fleet humans had ever encountered. The Zorith Empire had arrived, and it was moving fast toward Earth. Inside the defense chamber, the screens lit up with red color. Alien ships were advancing in perfect formation. Their weapons glowed with deadly light. Their engines roared across space like thunder. Humanity felt fear, but fear did not break them. Something else rose, something stronger, a fire inside the hearts of humans, a voice that said, "We must fight." The defense commander stood tall. He pressed the emergency broadcast button and spoke to the entire planet. "Humanity," he said, "we have been threatened, we have been challenged, but we will not surrender." Behind him, the hologram of the Aegis warships grew brighter. "To the Zorith Empire," he continued, "we send only one message." He paused, letting every human hold their breath. Challenge accepted. The human warships activated, engines burning like blue suns. They moved out from their hidden zones around moons and planets. Thousands of human soldiers prepared, pilots took their seats, and giant cannons powered up with a deep humming sound. The alien fleet reached the edge of the solar system, expecting humanity to kneel. Instead, they saw a wall of human warships waiting for them. No fear, no surrender, no weakness. The silent warning had ended. The real war was about to begin. The Zorith Empire had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They crushed hundreds of worlds, controlled dozens of species, and believed no one could stand against them. Their fleets moved like storms, and their soldiers followed orders without question. To them, every new species was either a servant or a target, nothing more. When the Zorith High Command received reports about a small blue planet called Earth, they laughed. Humans were young, only a few hundred years into space travel. They had no ancient history, no massive empire, and no advanced weapons. The Empire believed humans were nothing but soft creatures playing with toys, easy to conquer and easy to control. Inside the Zorith War flagship, the Supreme Commander, Lord Varric, watched the hologram of Earth spinning slowly. His face carried a proud smile. "Look at them," he said, "they build small cities and call themselves advanced. They are children." His officers nodded quickly, afraid to disagree. One of them said, "Humans will surrender as soon as they see our fleet, my lord." Commander Varric leaned back in his throne-like chair and replied, "They should thank us. We will bring them under the Empire. We will use them for labor, and their planet will become one of our resource zones." He spoke without any fear, without any doubt. To him, humanity was already defeated. The Zorith fleet moved forward in perfect rows. Thousands of ships covered in dark armor that absorbed starlight. Their engines glowed with burning red energy. Inside each ship, soldiers sharpened their weapons and prepared for what they believed would be an effortless victory. The alien soldiers joked, "Humans will run when they see us," another said, "Maybe they will kneel before we reach their moon." Their entire culture was built on arrogance, power, and domination. They never imagined a species fighting back. They never expected resistance, especially not from humans. But deep inside the Empire's intelligence center, one officer felt uneasy. His name was Rylan, a low-ranking strategist who studied human behavior for years. He had read every human broadcast, every message, every scientific report. He had watched humans fight wars among themselves, rebuild cities, and rise stronger each time. Rylan knew something the rest of the Empire refused to see. He stood up during the commander's meeting, his voice trembling. "My lord," he said carefully, "humans. They are different." Everyone turned to stare at him. Varric raised an eyebrow. "Different? They are weak." Rylan swallowed nervously and continued, "Humans have a pattern. They adapt quickly, they learn fast, and when they are pushed, they become dangerous. They have a history of fighting impossible wars and still winning." The room grew cold for a moment, but Varric only laughed loudly. "Your fear is useless," he said. "Humans are only strong against humans, not against us." No one listened to Rylan. His warnings were ignored. The Empire was blinded by pride. They believed humans would kneel as every other species had. They did not know that humanity had a secret project, a powerful fleet, and a burning desire to survive. As the alien ships moved deeper into the solar system, they passed Jupiter's orbit. The commanders expected to see empty space, silent and weak. Instead, their scanners picked up something unexpected, a small burst of energy, then another, then hundreds more. Alien officers checked their screens, confused. "My lord," one of them said, "something is happening near Saturn." Varric frowned and looked at the hologram. Human warships were rising from the darkness, hundreds of them. Their dark armor glimmered like shadows, their engines glowed bright blue. For the first time, the Zorith Empire felt a small spark of doubt. One officer said quietly, These ships are not in our records." Another added, "Their design is new, they are not the weak ships we expected." Varric tightened his grip on the arm of his throne. "It does not matter," he said sharply, "we will destroy them." But inside him, something shifted, a small fear he had never felt before. It whispered, humans were not supposed to have this power. As the human warships moved into formation, the Empire realized something terrifying. The humans were not scared, the humans were ready, and they were waiting for the Zorith Empire. For the first time in many years, the arrogant Empire saw an enemy that did not run, did not hide. and did not bow. Humanity stood proud, and their ships formed a silent wall across space. Commander Varric looked at the glowing blue engines of the human fleet and felt his confidence shake. "Prepare weapons," he said, his voice heavy. "The humans want to fight." But inside the minds of the Zorath soldiers, one thought grew stronger with each passing second. What if humans are not weak? What if we made a mistake? As the distance between the two fleets grew smaller, the fear inside the Empire grew larger. The arrogant smile of the Zorath Empire was slowly fading. And humanity had not even fired a single shot yet. Humanity fights back. Simple English third-person action-packed HFY. The Zorath Empire expected humans to run. They expected fear, panic, surrender, or at least silence, but what they saw next changed everything inside their minds. Human warships did not hide behind planets, they did not retreat into space, instead, they moved forward. The Aegis fleet activated its engines, blue light spread across the darkness like rising suns, ship after ship left their hidden bases, rising from moon shadows, asteroid stations, and secret deep space hangars. The galaxy had never seen a human fleet this large, this organized, or this powerful. On Earth, millions of people watched the broadcast. Their hearts were heavy, but pride filled them. Soldiers stood ready, pilots took deep breaths, and commanders whispered to their teams, "This time, we fight for all of humanity." Every human felt like they were part of one giant heart beating together. In space, the battle zone became bright with energy waves. The Zorath Empire sent their first attack formation. 10 massive destroyer ships moved forward with red glowing engines, their cannons charged with deadly fire. An officer on the flagship shouted, "Humans cannot stop this." But the humans did stop it. In fact, they stopped it easily. The first human ship to respond was Aegis 01, the flagship of the fleet. Its captain, Commander Rhea Solis, watched the enemy ships with calm eyes. Her voice was steady as she spoke. "Target locked, fire rail cannons." The Aegis 01 unleashed a blast that cut through the silence. The rail cannon fired a metal projectile so fast it became a streak of white-blue light. It shot through space and hit the closest alien destroyer. The destroyer exploded instantly. No shields, no defense, nothing. The Zorath officers froze in shock. One shouted, "What weapon was that?" Another said, "No species should have this kind of power." Commander Varric felt his stomach twist. He finally understood. Humans were not simply resisting, they were counterattacking with terrifying strength. But the humans were not finished. The rest of the Aegis fleet opened fire. Beams of plasma, high-speed rail projectiles, EMP waves, and particle storms hit the alien formation. One by one, the Zorath destroyers fell apart, their armor melted, their engines shut down, and explosions spread like falling stars. Inside the human ships, pilots celebrated, but Commander Rhea spoke firmly, "Stay focused, they will come harder now." She knew the Empire was proud, they would not accept defeat so easily. The Zorath Empire reacted fast. A second wave of ships, larger, stronger, more dangerous, moved forward. Hundreds of fighters flew out like angry insects. They fired lasers, missiles, and dark energy shots at the human fleet. The sky around Saturn lit up with battle fire. Human shields flickered but held strong. The Aegis armor absorbed energy like water, converting it into power for weapons and engines. "Shield stable," a human officer reported. "All systems ready." Commander Rhea smiled, a small but confident smile. "Good," she said, "let's show them what humans can do." Human fighters flew out of hangars, hundreds of them. They moved with speed and precision the alien commanders did not expect. They flew in tight formations, weaving between enemy shots and firing back with deadly accuracy. Each human fighter carried weapons the galaxy had never seen before, microplasma darts, gravity spear missiles, and shockwave bombs. The alien fighters fell one after another. Their pilots shouted in fear, "These humans, they fight like they are born for war." Some cried. They were not used to an enemy who adapted so fast, moved so sharply, and hit so hard. Meanwhile, human engineers inside the ships worked non-stop. They rerouted power, fixed systems, and supported the front lines. Every human worked together, like one mind, one purpose, one will. The Zorath Empire tried to break through the human formation, but the Aegis fleet stood like an iron wall. Whenever aliens pushed forward, humans pushed back harder. Whenever aliens fired, humans fired twice. In only minutes, the alien second wave began to fall apart. Commander Varric watched the battle with disbelief. His voice shook as he spoke. How are humans doing this? He slammed his fist on the console. This is not possible. We are the Empire. They cannot be stronger than us. But deep down, he knew the truth. Humanity was different. They were not scared. They were not weak. They were fighting with everything they had, and something more, something the Empire had never seen before. Heart. Unity. Resolve. As the battle reached its peak, the human flagship moved forward. Commander Rhea gave one last order, forward push. Her ship rammed through the alien front line, firing at every angle. The Empire's ships scattered in panic, their formation broke, their confidence shattered. Within minutes, the alien fleet started to retreat. The Zorith Empire, the rulers of thousands of worlds, were forced to fall back. Humanity had not only survived, they had won the first major clash. Earth cheered, the solar system cheered, and across the battlefield, one message echoed through every human ship, a message filled with new strength. Humanity fights back. The Empire expected fear. But they found fire. They found courage. They found the unstoppable will of the human race. Humanity had just begun. The Empire had no idea what was coming next. The battle that changed everything. Simple English third-person high-action HFY. The first clash had ended, but the real battle was only beginning. The Zorith Empire would never accept defeat from a young species. They gathered the rest of their invading force, thousands of ships forming a giant moving storm across Saturn's orbit. Their war drums echoed through their communication channels, and their commanders roared orders with burning anger. Inside the alien flagship, Commander Varric rose from his throne. His pride was wounded, his voice sharp like a blade. Humans embarrassed us once, he said, but it will not happen again. He ordered the full fleet to advance, every ship armed, every pilot ready, every weapon glowing with deadly fire. But the humans were ready too. The Aegis fleet had taken position near Saturn's rings, using the floating ice particles as natural cover. Human engineers placed shield enhancers around the battlefield, creating a defensive net that confused enemy scanners. Fighters hovered behind debris, warships hid inside shadows. It was not chaos, it was strategy. Commander Rhea Solis stood inside the flagship bridge, her eyes calm, her voice steady. This is the moment, she said. This battle will decide everything. Hold nothing back. Her officers nodded, tension and determination mixing inside their hearts. Every human understood. If they lose now, Earth will fall. If they win, humanity will rise forever. The alien fleet moved like a burning wave. Their engines lit the darkness with red fire, their formation wide and strong, spinning slowly like a giant circle. Varric shouted, "Fire!" and thousands of lasers shot forward at once, turning the battlefield into a storm of deadly light. Human shields glowed blue under the impact, energy rippled across their armor, but nothing broke. The Aegis hull was built to absorb attacks, powering the cannons and boosters through combat. Shield stable, the human officer said. Rhea took a deep breath and replied, "Then we attack." The Aegis fleet pushed forward, engines roared, and human ships left their hiding spots like shadows becoming alive. They activated their attack patterns, called the Horizon Formation, a design that allowed the fleet to move like one single giant unit. Each ship covered the weakness of the one beside it, forming a perfect shield and perfect fire line. Human fighters rushed into battle first, diving between alien beams with fearless skill. They attacked enemy engines, wings, and weapons in rapid strikes. The alien commanders shouted in frustration, their formations breaking apart as human fighters moved like fast silver arrows through the chaos. Then came the warships. Aegis 03 and Aegis 07 fired heavy plasma storms that bent around enemy shields and melted armor like ice. Aegis 02 released EMP shockwaves that shut down dozens of alien ships at once. Their lights died, their engines froze, and they drifted helplessly into the darkness. For the first time, the Zorith soldiers felt something they never felt before. Fear. On the alien flagship, officers panicked. How are humans doing this? They shouted, their power, their speed, it keeps growing. Commander Varric gritted his teeth. Do not fall back, he roared. We are Zorith, we do not break. but even his voice trembled with doubt. The battle intensified, a giant alien dreadnought moved forward, bigger than any human ship. Its cannons glowed with dark energy that could destroy a city in one hit. Target the human flagship, the alien captain ordered. The dreadnought fired, and a beam of burning red energy shot across the battlefield. But humans were ready, Commander Rhea shouted, full evasive, and her ship dodged the blast by inches. The beam passed through space and cut one of Saturn's rings, sending ice dust scattering like falling diamonds. Humans did not fear the dreadnought, instead, they attacked it from every direction. Aegis 04 shot gravity torpedoes that crushed its armor. Aegis 09 fired rail cannons that pierced its hull. Human fighters swarmed it like angry hornets, hitting weak points non-stop. The dreadnought shook, sparks burst from its engines, and for the first time, an Empire-class war machine faltered. Then Commander Rhea gave the final order, bring it down. The human flagship fired a supercharged plasma lance. The beam hit the heart of the dreadnought, and the giant ship cracked open like a broken mountain. It exploded in a massive flash of blue and red fire, lighting the entire battlefield. The shockwave pushed alien ships away, and the Empire forces lost their final anchor. The alien fleet broke into chaos. Officers screamed orders that no one followed. Ships collided, pilots panicked, some tried to retreat, but human warships blocked every path. Humanity had become an unstoppable force, moving with precision and anger. A single truth echoed across the battlefield. Humans were not prey, they were hunters. Commander Varric stared at the collapsing enemy lines, his chest tightened with fear. This cannot be real, he whispered. Humans cannot defeat us, but they were, and they did. Human ships pushed forward like a rising storm, breaking the Empire fleet piece by piece. The Zorith Empire, powerful for thousands of years, was losing badly. As the final explosion faded and the battlefield became quiet, the Empire's once great fleet had been reduced to burning wreckage drifting through Saturn's orbit. Humanity had fought, humanity had stood tall. And humanity had changed the galaxy forever. But this victory was only the beginning. The Empire would return, stronger and angrier. And humanity would need its greatest weapon for what came next. Humanity's hidden weapon. Simple English third-person high-suspense HFY. The battlefield near Saturn was silent now. The broken pieces of the Zorith fleet floated like dark ghosts across the rings. Humanity had won another victory, but every commander on Earth knew the truth. The Empire would come back, and next time they would come with even greater force. Inside the United Earth Defense Tower, leaders watched the battle replay. Some were proud, some were afraid. But Dr. Lena Arwood, the creator of Project Aegis, stood with a serious expression. This was only the test, she said quietly. The real storm is coming. Commander Rhea, still on the flagship, heard this message and understood. They needed something bigger, something powerful enough to end the war before it began. What the galaxy did not know was that humanity had been working on one more secret project, something hidden deeper than Aegis, something so dangerous that only 5 people in the whole solar system knew about it. It was called Project Helios. Project Helios was not built on Earth, not on the Moon, and not inside any planet. It was hiding inside the burning layers of the Sun itself, protected by an artificial magnetic shield created by the greatest human scientists. It was humanity's last resort, a weapon that could harness the raw heat and power of the star. The Empire had seen human warships, but they had never seen Helios. It was not a ship, not a missile, not a bomb. It was a giant solar cannon, floating invisible within the sun's corona, powered by solar storms and magnetic fields, and when activated, it could fire a beam strong enough to split planets, bend space, and erase fleets in seconds. But humanity never wanted to use it. It was too dangerous, too powerful, too final. Only one rule existed. Use Helios only when the Empire threatens Earth directly. And that moment was now. Hours after their defeat, the Zorith Empire sent a message to all their fleets across the galaxy. Their voice was full of anger and shame. Prepare every warship, Commander Varric ordered. We will destroy humanity completely. The Empire gathered a massive reinforcement fleet, the largest they had ever called for a single target. Thousands of ships, dreadnoughts, carriers, and supercruisers moved like a black storm toward the solar system. The human scanners detected the incoming storm long before it arrived. Commander Ria's eyes narrowed as she saw the readings. "This is a full annihilation fleet," she said. "They want to wipe out Earth." Dr. Arwood appeared on the screen and spoke 9 quiet words that changed everything. "It is time to activate Project Helios." The bridge fell silent. Officers exchanged worried glances. They had heard whispers about Helios, but no one imagined it would be used. Commander Ria gave a slow nod. "Prepare the link," she ordered. Her voice carried the same weight as 1,000 hearts. Deep inside the sun, the magnetic shield around Project Helios began to shift. The solar cannon awakened, glowing bright gold like a second sun hidden inside the first. Waves of plasma rotated around it, feeding it with unimaginable power. The control room on Earth shook slightly as Helios synced with human command networks. Outside the solar system, the Zorith ships arrived like an endless storm. Red lights filled space, engines roared, and their weapons glowed with deadly fire. Commander Varric smiled, believing victory was certain. "Humans cannot defeat this," he said with confidence. "They will fall today." But humans were not planning to fight this battle ship to ship. They were preparing something far more devastating. Commander Ria stood tall, eyes fixed on the enemy fleet. "Begin targeting sequence," she said. A low hum echoed across every screen, the Helios control systems linking with her signals. The alien ships charged their weapons, energy building like thunder preparing to strike. Tens of thousands of beams pointed at Earth, ready to burn the planet into dust. Alien soldiers cheered inside their ships, believing humanity was seconds away from destruction. Then it happened. The sun flashed. A beam of pure golden fire burst out from its surface, faster than anything the galaxy had ever seen. It stretched across millions of kilometers like a blazing spear, cutting through darkness and silence, flying straight toward the Zorith Armada. The Empire did not even have time to react. The Helios beam passed through the first line of ships, slicing them in half. Their engines exploded instantly. The second line tried to escape but failed. The beam curved slightly, guided by human AI, hitting them too. In one single strike, nearly half the Zorith reinforcement fleet disappeared into glowing dust. Inside the flagship, Varric stared in horror. His voice cracked. What weapon is this?" Officers screamed. "It is impossible. No empire has this kind of power," but humans did, and they used it without hesitation. On the human flagship, Commander Ria whispered, "Helios, fire again." The sun responded with another golden beam, brighter than the first. It hit the enemy supercruisers and dreadnoughts, erasing them like shadows in the morning light. The Zorith Empire had never seen such destruction, never felt such fear, never imagined humans could hold a weapon stronger than starfire. The Empire's ships began to retreat, their formations broken, their courage shattered, their entire armada collapsed under the unstoppable power of the sun itself. Humanity had revealed its greatest secret. And the galaxy would never forget this moment. The Empire falls apart. Simple English third-person emotional plus powerful HFY. The sun had fired twice, and the galaxy itself felt the shock. The remains of the Zorith Armada drifted in space like silent ashes. Ships that once terrified entire star systems were now nothing but glowing dust. Humanity had shown the greatest power ever witnessed. And that power broke the Empire from inside. Inside the Zorith High Command Palace, chaos exploded like fire. Officers shouted at each other, screens flickered with emergency warnings, and soldiers ran through hallways in panic. For the first time in thousands of years, the Empire felt something strange. Fear. The Supreme Emperor of Zorith, Acrian the Eternal, sat upon his tall throne, his armor forged from rare cosmic steel, his eyes sharp, cold, and cruel. He watched the destruction on the hologram and slammed his fist down. "This cannot be true," he growled. "Humans were supposed to be primitive, they were supposed to be weak." But the truth burned in front of him. The Helios beam had torn through his greatest fleet. Millions of soldiers were gone. The Empire's pride was shattered. His advisors trembled as they delivered the reports. "My Emperor," one whispered, "our supercruisers are lost, our dreadnoughts destroyed, our reinforcements gone." Another said, "Human weapons are beyond anything in our records." The Emperor's voice turned dark. "Silence," he roared, but his voice no longer held the power it once did. The Empire had cracks that were growing. In the back of the room, strategist Rylan, the same officer who warned about humanity, watched silently, his heart heavy. I told them, he whispered to himself, humans adapt, humans rise, but now it was too late for warnings, the Empire had crossed a line it could not step back from. Across the Empire's homeworlds, citizens watched the news of the defeat. Many had believed their empire was unbeatable, unstoppable, eternal, but the truth was clear. Humanity had broken the myth. People whispered in fear, if humans have weapons like the sun, what else are they hiding? Some began to lose faith in the Empire, some began to question the Emperor's power. Rebellion sparks ignited on far planets, workers refused orders, soldiers hesitated, governors argued, the structure that held the Empire together was falling apart, like a giant beast losing its bones. Meanwhile, inside the flagship of Commander Rhea, the crew watched the retreating alien ships with calm seriousness. There was no celebration, no cheering, they knew the war was not finished. Humans did not want revenge, they wanted peace, but peace would come only when the Empire understood its mistake. Commander Rhea stood still, her voice deep. We cannot let them attack again, she said, we must finish this now. Earth agreed. The United Earth Council sent one message to the fleet, proceed to the Imperial Command Center. Humanity was no longer defending, they were now taking control of the war, one step at a time, with courage and discipline. The Aegis fleet moved across space like a rising storm, passing moons, stars, and old battlefields. The path was clear, no alien forces dared to stand in their way, not after seeing Helios, not after witnessing human unity. Back in the Zorith Palace, Emperor Acreon tried to rebuild control. Send every remaining ship, he ordered, protect the capital, stop the humans, but there was no answer. His officers avoided eye contact, some ships refused to respond, many captains had already fled, some wanted to surrender. The Empire was breaking, not from bombs, not from battles, but from fear. Strategist Ryland finally stepped forward, his voice steady yet sad. My Emperor, he said softly, we cannot stop them. The humans are not like the species we conquered, they are stronger because they fight together, they are united in ways we never understood. The Emperor glared at him with burning anger. You dare speak of unity, he hissed. We are the Zorith Empire. But his words sounded hollow, empty, weak. The throne behind him no longer felt powerful, it felt heavy, like a relic of a fading time. Then the alarms rang. Human warships appeared on the outskirts of the Empire's capital system, massive shadows crossing the golden light of the central star. The Aegis fleet moved in formation, clean, sharp, unstoppable. Rhea's flagship led the charge, its armor glowing with blue fire, its engines roaring like a silent storm. The Empire's last defenders launched their ships, but their movements were slow, unorganized, filled with fear. Human ships moved through them like wind cutting through smoke, disabling weapons, draining shields, and shutting down engines without killing when possible. Humanity was powerful but not cruel, they were sending a message. The human flagship reached the palace district, where the Empire kept its strongest defenses. Energy shields surrounded the Golden Palace, towers glowing with ancient power. Commander Rhea stood tall and gave her final order, board the capital. Human drop ships descended like silver arrows, landing near the palace gates. Soldiers marched forward, strong, calm, united. Alien guards tried to resist but were overwhelmed by disciplined human tactics. In minutes, the humans stood inside the throne room, their weapons ready but lowered respectfully. Emperor Acreon rose from his throne, trying to look strong, but his hands trembled. Commander Rhea stepped forward, her voice deep and firm. This war ends now. The Empire had no strength left to fight. No ships. No courage. No hope. Humanity had defeated an empire that ruled for thousands of years. Not just with weapons, but with unity, intelligence, and unbreakable will. The Zorith Empire had fallen apart. And the galaxy itself was about to change forever. The message to the galaxy. Simple English third-person powerful ending HFY. The throne room of the Zorith Empire was silent now, the golden walls that once echoed with pride and commands now felt cold and empty. Human soldiers stood firm but calm, their weapons pointed down. They had come not to destroy, but to end a war forced upon them. Emperor Acreon looked at the humans with tired eyes, his voice weak. Why did your kind fight so hard? He whispered, "Why do you not fear us?" Commander Rhea stepped forward, her expression steady and strong. "Because humans protect their home," she said, "we protect our people." The Emperor slowly sank back into his throne. He understood something he never believed before. Power was not only about strength, it was about unity, courage, and heart, something the Empire had lost long ago, something humanity had found together. Rhea raised her wrist console and activated the broadcast link. For the first time in history, a single message would reach every major civilization in the galaxy, from the smallest colonies to the oldest star kingdoms. Every screen flickered to life, showing the human commander standing inside the heart of the fallen empire. Her voice echoed across stars, planets, stations, and ships. "This is Commander Rhea Solis of the United Earth Fleet. We did not want this war. But we will always finish any war forced on us." Billions of aliens watched silently, shocked that humans stood inside the Imperial Palace, shocked that the mighty Zorith Empire had been defeated by a species they once called primitive. Rhea continued. "Humanity will not conquer anyone. We will not rule the galaxy. But we will protect ourselves, and any species who seeks peace." The message spread like fire, reaching distant worlds where people lived in fear of the Empire. On those planets, small voices whispered, "Humans are protectors." On others, citizens cheered, hoping this was the end of tyranny. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had become the symbol of strength and justice. Behind Rhea, her soldiers stood like a wall of discipline and pride, their armor shining in the palace light. The Emperor watched this with a strange feeling in his chest, respect, something he had never felt for any other species. He bowed his head slightly, a gesture the Zorith had never given to anyone. "We surrender," he said quietly, "we accept peace." The galaxy trembled at those words. The Zorith Empire, rulers of thousands of worlds, had bowed to humanity. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Human engineers moved through the palace disabling harmful systems. Human medics helped injured alien soldiers. They treated them with care, something the Empire never offered to their own enemies. Every action sent a message louder than any weapon. Humans were strong, but also human. The United Earth Council soon arrived to negotiate, not to punish. They worked with Zorith leaders to rebuild peace, rebuild trust, rebuild the galaxy. Humanity did not seek revenge, they sought balance, hope, and a future where no empire could abuse the weak again. Across the galaxy, smaller species gathered their courage. Some approached Earth asking for protection, others asked for alliances. Humans agreed, not as rulers, but as equals. The galaxy had expected a new conqueror, but instead, it found something different. A guardian. Days later, with the war officially ended, Rhea returned to the human flagship. The crew celebrated quietly, proud but humble. "We did it," one officer whispered. Rhea nodded, her eyes soft but determined. "This is only the beginning," she said. "Humanity has stepped into the stars." She turned toward the large window showing the galaxy outside, millions of lights, millions of worlds, all now watching humanity with new eyes, not as prey, not as victims, but as a rising power. Her final words echoed through the ship. "We faced an empire. We faced death. And we stood tall. We are humanity. And we will protect the stars." The crew saluted, engines powered up, and the flagship moved forward, cutting through the darkness like a shining arrow. The galaxy had changed forever. Because one empire challenged humanity once. And instantly regretted it.